Excellent. So thank you everybody for joining, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you wherever you're from. I'm here in the UK with James. We've got Vlad and Tyler, Vlad in Serbia and Tyler in the US. So welcome to another Evernym webinar. These webinars are focused on self-sovereign identity and digital credentials. And as you probably know by now, it's quite a lot of regular attendees. We run these to enable you to learn about the really rapidly evolving world of digital credentials and to help you build solutions more quickly and more effectively. You can find recordings of all our previous webinars at evernym.com/webinars. There's some really good stuff in there for you to have a look at. On the last one, we had a really deeply personal story from Dr. Manpreet Najjar, works at the UK NHS National Health Service, and it was really his views on the implementation opportunities for SSI in healthcare, and it was a really good grounding actually on the end user experience and perspective and the ways SSI can benefit users like himself. Today we're going really round to turn on our eyes onto our product set here at Evernym and the latest product developments. We do regular product update webinars like this, and we've got a really pretty full agenda for this one. So, you know, the world of digital credentials is moving at really incredible pace right now, and our product development is doing the same thing. So, as I said, I'm joined by James, Vlad, and Tyler. They drive our product innovation, product design and development. So just do quick intros for them. James, could you kick off for us, please?
Thanks very much, Andy. Hello, everybody. I'm James Monaghan, Evernym's head of product. I'm based here in London and have been with the company since 2016.
Thanks, James. Vlad?
Hi, everyone. My name is Vlad Vujovic, and I'm the product manager for the enterprise products at Evernym, based in Belgrade, Serbia.
Thanks, Vlad. And Tyler?
Yeah, I'm Tyler, and I'm in charge of Evernym's mobile products.
Cool. Thanks very much, guys. I promised you a packed agenda, and here's what we've got for you today. So the team have got updates that cover our core product, the credential exchange platform, Verity. We've been also really busy with our Edge Wallet mobile app, which is connect.me, and also combined with our mobile SDK, a lot of development on that. And that allows you to build your own digital wallet app, just as we've done with connect.me. That's been a big focus of our attention as well, as you'll see a lot of the reasons why as we go through the slides today. We'll also cover some of the highlights that are coming up on our roadmap and a new demo of our try.connect.me facility, which allows anyone to just experience what SSI and digital credentials are like. And then after that, we'll do a Q&A with the team as well. So if you've got any questions, please put them into the Zoom Q&A, right? There's the chat, everyone sort of uses the chat, but if you use the Q&A, it's a bit better. It's easier for us to track those questions. So please use the Zoom Q&A function for any questions you've got. We're normally inundated and we love your questions. So just pile them in there. And after we've done the formal bit of the presentation, I'll curate and moderate as many of those as we can get through. Also, please note this webinar is being recorded as per usual. We publish the recording afterwards. It will be available on our website, evernym.com/webinars. Yeah, lastly, just behind the scenes, Alex is gathering all of your comments and things coming back. He'll be posting interesting links in the chat for you to have a look at as well as we cover those off. So that's pretty much where we're at now. And with that intro, James, I'm just going to hand over to you to kick things off, please.
Sounds great. Thanks, Andy. So just to provide some context, you know, at Evernym, we're singularly committed to bringing the humanity back to our digital interactions. And we believe that verifiable credentials are a critical tool for achieving this. So we've been working since 2016 and before on the open standards, the public infrastructure, and the commercial products, which enable widespread adoption of this powerful technology. Evernym's platform provides a complete suite of capabilities for organizations and individuals to have smarter, more secure, and more private interactions. And it's comprised, as Andy mentioned, of 4 products. There's Verity, which equips developers with the ability to easily issue or verify digital credentials. And there's our connect.me mobile app, which is one of the first and most widely used decentralized identity wallets to hit the app stores, which enables individuals to receive and securely store verifiable credentials that they can use whenever and wherever they need, all from the comfort of their mobile device. Our mobile SDK allows developers to embed the same digital wallet functionality that Connect.me has into a mobile app of their own, whether that's customizing the user experience or building on an existing app with existing distribution that they may have. And completing the picture, our newest product, Verity Flow, puts the power of Verity into the hands of average users without them needing to write a single line of code. We're really proud that our products have been selected for some of the largest, most prominent, and most important deployments of verifiable credentials anywhere in the world. The market is a lot more crowded than it was when we started, and we're delighted to see a number of vendors coming out with products which serve many different networks, many different segments. And what our customers have told us sets Evernym apart is our strong focus on enterprise-grade security, scale, and reliability, which allows them to go to market with confidence. We take that trust extremely seriously, and we're committed to earning it every single day. So to tell you more about Verity in a bit more detail, I'm going to hand over to Vlad, who leads its product development. Vlad, over to you.
Thank you, James. If this is the first time you're hearing about Verity, let me explain to you in a few minutes. So Evernym has offered cutting-edge tools for working with verifiable credentials since 2017. And Verity, in fact, is our second-generation platform for running decentralized identity protocols, where credential exchange protocols are the most notable ones. It is intended for enterprises, for companies and organizations who want to enable SSI capabilities into their own products and business processes. It allows organizations to act as an issuer of credentials to end users or as a verifier of proofs that end users share. These capabilities allow organizations to enable a wide range of use cases. For example, you can use them to for secure authentication to web services, for KYC-related use cases, and more recently to health and travel use cases. So if you're a company or organization looking to issue or verify digital credentials or wanting to build secure and private interactions with end users, then Verity is a product for you. By the way, if you want to try it out, you can sign up for a free developer plan at evernym.com/developer. Verity is foremost being used by developers and builders, and we want our customer developers to be successful as quickly as possible and to have a good experience working with our tech. For that reason, our standard developer package contains lots of sample apps showcasing different scenarios and different underlying decentralized identity protocols. We currently have native language SDKs in 4 popular languages, which are doing most of the message handling and communication with Verity. But besides the SDK, our customers also have the option to use our REST API. Also, our developer package includes installers and Docker. So setting up, installing dependencies, and running one of the many available example apps is done in minutes rather than hours or days. We also have a dedicated developer success team and a support process that helps our customers in the journey with our tech. It's been around a year since Verity has exited beta and has become generally available. During this 1 year, Verity has been used by several hundred customer developers, and they are adding tens more each week. Some have developed POCs and prototypes, some have just run the available sample code, but several have built production deployments and using Verity Platform in production. And in that time, we have refactored and added more sample apps, like the ones that are using Aries Out-of-Band protocol. We have refreshed and completely reorganized our documentation a couple of times in the past 12 months, all with the goal to improve developer experience. Our customers are coming to us because of the very stability and availability of our platform for mission-critical use cases. In the past several months, we have also invested heavily in scalability and performance of our platform. We have a dedicated team of developers that have been doing the constant performance testing and refactoring the internals of our platform to achieve maximum results. Our latest performance stats show that our platform is able to support up to 3 times more throughput than before, making it capable of supporting various production deployments and use cases. And our architecture allows us for horizontal scalability so we can easily grow capacity as our customers demand. And now I'm going to give it to Tyler, who's going to talk more about Connect with Me.
Awesome. Thanks, Vlad. So Connect Me is the mobile app that's free in both app stores and available. It will be free for the foreseeable future. And its primary purpose is for individuals to gather and share in a secure, private way digital credentials. And one of the things that it does is in order to gather and share data securely, it first forms encrypted end-to-end unique private connections. And that's very important because it maximizes the individual's privacy as they interact online, and it prevents them from leaving a digital wake or a digital trail of breadcrumbs by which they can be correlated or tracked. And so that's an important characteristic of Connect Me that it has had from its launch in 2017. So let's talk a little bit more about connections. If Connect Me is, or SSI, self-sovereign identity, is a new thing for you, think of it like the private bat phone that Commissioner Gordon has to reach Batman. Every time that a Connect Me user interacts with a new organization, behind the scenes, a private encrypted connection is first formed. And then over that private channel, data can be shared securely and in a way that makes it very, very difficult to correlate the user's movements online. So we said that one of the primary things that we believe in is bringing humanity back into our digital interactions. We believe, as James said, that one of the ways to do that is by getting good at gathering and then sharing and verifying digital credentials, but doing it in a way that preserves privacy and minimizes correlation. So the animation you're seeing on the right is just of a Connect Me user scanning a code to receive a verifiable credential, and it's stored in the wallet that lives on the user's phone. And that's an important piece to understand as well. There are a lot of digital wallets coming on the market, and we believe there will be more. And ultimately, this is a good thing for individuals because a competitive market always benefits consumers. Connect Me is different because the credentials and the cryptographic keys for signing and doing all of your interactions, they live on the device and they never leave the device. And that's always been the case with Connect Me, and that will always continue to be the case. And so you have the power literally in your pocket to gather these digital credentials that can be independently verified, and you can share what you want on your terms. So that's kind of been the spirit and ethos of how we've designed and built the app to function. So this animation you'll see is subtly different. The user's scanning a code which is asking them to share information. And that's something that we wanted Connect Me users to be able to understand and go through in a way that feels intuitive and natural to them, where they can see who is asking for the information. And the app actually, it happens kind of quickly, but if you watch the animation, as soon as the code is scanned, the app is generating a cryptographic proof to fulfill all the requirements or all the fields that are being asked for, all the attributes that are being asked to share. And it does it so quickly that it just feels instantaneous to the user. But what's happening is what's actually being shared is not the same thing that was being issued. It's actually a cryptographic proof of what was issued and what's in your wallet. And the reason that is done is because it maximizes privacy, because the proof that you share to organization A and the proof that you share to organization B are not the same, and they cannot be correlated or matched in the same way that reusing your same email address for all your different accounts online can be correlated easily. So we've been working really hard on Connect Me and the Mobile SDK, which I'll talk about the Mobile SDK in a minute, but just some highlights of some improvements we've made. So we received a lot of feedback. We have deployments in production in various use cases, and areas around the world. And the card design actually was one of the things that users responded to the most and understood intuitively. Oh, I have a wallet that has some digital credentials in here. And so we use the wallet looking paradigm to help with that. So that users can navigate and understand that they're gathering credentials in their wallet and they can share them on their own terms. So we've been working hard on improving the user experience. We've added supports for predicates. For those that don't know, predicates just mean that you can prove greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to for CL signature schemes. So this is the classic case that if you've been in the SSI space before, you've heard of people say, well, I want to be able to prove that I'm over 21 without revealing my birthday. That's what a predicate is. And so ConnectMe supports predicates for CL signatures, and we'll continue to work on privacy enhancing features like that. We have had lots of performance improvements. Obviously, bug fixes go along with any software project, and we've added support for 32-bit Android devices. Google is going to sunset 32-bit Android. They've already stopped requiring that you have 32-bit updates to your apps in the Google Play Store, but 32-bit devices are so prevalent, especially in less or underprivileged areas of the world that just have older devices or cheaper devices. You can buy in the United States a 32-bit Android device for $25, I think, that can run ConnectMe and have these cryptographic superpowers, which is awesome. So it makes a ton of sense for us to continue supporting all of the amazing cryptographic things that ConnectMe can do on 32-bit. So that's enough about ConnectMe. Let's talk about the mobile SDK. So last November, when we did a webinar, we unveiled our mobile SDK that had been in beta, and we are launching it soon in public. And the mobile SDK serves a growing pool of customers that we're seeing that either have their own mobile app, or they want to design their own customer experience, or they have a very specific use case in mind that they want to design around, but they want the features for holding, verifying, or sharing and gathering credentials that ConnectMe has. And so that's why we have the mobile SDK, and it's been designed to make it really easy for mobile developers to run your own app. In fact, we have a React Native sample app where you can get running in under an hour. It's really, really simple to get going, get it building, and then do anything from just customizing some of the screens and having almost like a white labeled ConnectMe that you can use for your own use case, or just going completely native and just consuming it like a classic SDK, and then writing your own front end on it with your own logic and your own screens. So we support the full spectrum. So this is an example of some customers that have been using this while it's been in beta. The one on the far left is MemberPass. This is for an organization called Bonafide that's in the United States. They serve credit unions here in the United States, and they're using our mobile SDK for their own branded app called MemberPass, which is used to securely identify credit union members when they call in, log in, or walk in to get financial services with their credit union. IATA stands for the International Airline Travel Association, and they approached us at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic last year and wanted to build a travel pass to help safely reopen travel. And now they are in pilots with, I think, over 20 airlines around the world using our mobile app and our Verity product to power their credentialing system. True is in the UK, and they help doctors who have their credentials be verified so that they can move across various workplaces and prove their credentials easily. Techne is a government sponsored app for citizen ID, and that's a really cool project. They were able to get their app up and running in, I think, a month on both iOS and Android. And then Lumetic is another one here in the United States. That one is also healthcare related. This is for identifying staff that they have COVID-19 negative tests so that they are safe to come back to work. So those are just a few examples. We've had several, but we wanted to highlight IATA. That's one we're very excited about. So this is a promo video that IATA created. We just want to play a clip from it.
COVID-19 is changing the way we travel. Health requirements like testing and vaccinations will have a greater impact on where and how we can fly. This is why we have developed IATA Travel Pass, a one-stop shop to securely and conveniently let you verify that you meet COVID-19 health requirements for your journey. The app is simple and easy to use. First, it enables you to create a secure digital version of your passport on your mobile phone, which will link your COVID test or proof of vaccination and travel information to your verified identity. You can then add your flight details. The app will automatically let you know what travel and health requirements are needed for your destination. This information is supplied by Thematic, the industry's most trusted source for global travel regulations. If you need a test, it will provide you with a list of verified health centers near your point of departure. There, your digital ID will be confirmed using your physical passport, which will allow the lab to securely send test results to your mobile device. Once governments issue digital vaccine certificates, you'll be able to upload yours to the app. If you meet the health requirements for your trip, you will receive an OK to travel notification. And with that, you're ready to fly. You can check in from home, sharing your status with the airline or border authorities before travel, or by showing it throughout your journey.
Awesome. So that one's really cool. We're excited to power IATA's products. So next slide on the core features of the Mobile SDK. I'll just go quickly through these. We're adding more language supports every quarter. Right now, you can run this full native in Objective-C, Java, Kotlin. We have a React Native full app that you can white label and take and customize any piece of it that you want. And we are coming out soon with a React Native bridge or React Native wrapper. So if you want to write in React Native, you can do that. The Mobile SDK comes with all the features that you see in Connect Me. So by default, it forms private pairwise connections. It uses zero-knowledge proofs when you're sharing data, and selective disclosure, so the user can actually share or select a source from, if there's multiple credentials which apply or which can be used to fulfill a data share request, or what we call a proof request, the user can pick between those, and it has keys at the edge. So that Mobile SDK actually comes with the wallet where the keys live. And structured messages is a cool feature we actually rolled out for the credit unions. And structured message is a fancy way of saying having an encrypted message with an encrypted question that you can send to your app user. And in the credit union example, they're using this to send a challenge to the user's wallet app that says, hey, are you on the phone with Sophia support at Happy Credit Union right now? Yes or no? And the user can answer that. And when they answer that, the app signs the response and sends it back over the encrypted channel that you set up. So you get all of these features. We have configuration scripts that make it easy to set it up on a demo environment or in your production environment, and then have your own EULA. You have your own terms and conditions in EULA for your app. And so we make that really easy as well. And all of our products, just as a reminder, they're under our business source license. And it has a 3-year timer. So business source license, if you're not familiar with the term, just means that in order to deploy our products in production, you'll need to pursue a commercial contract with us, or you can wait 3 years. And from 3 years from the time that our code is made public, and all of our products are going public and our code bases are being made public, the business source license says, after 3 years, the license will change to an Apache 2 license. And that's the case with Mobile SDK, and all of our products are going that way. So we're launching next week. It will be public. Our build pipelines will be public. The Mobile SDK repo will be public. And you will have published NPM artifacts that developers can take and use and we'll do a press release or an announcement when that happens on June 1st. But we've been in beta long enough, and we're confident that when this launches, we'll have a seamless, easy developer experience. We've been working on the documentation for over a year, and we're just really excited to expand this product. So that's it for the mobile side. I'll hand over to James to talk about our roadmap.
Thanks, Tyler. It's really great to see all those improvements there. And that's the fun thing about this job, honestly. You know, at Evernym, we're constantly improving our products to better meet the needs of either end users or our customers and their developers themselves. And we've got a development pipeline at the moment that is just chock full of features and enhancements that are going to improve that experience for everyone. And frankly, we just don't have time to go through it all today. So what we've picked, Andy gave you a little preview earlier, are just 3 highlights that we want to go through. The first is a little preview of the brand new product, Verity Flow, that we alluded to at the start. The second is support for the new BBS Plus credentials, which will be rolling out across our product stack. And then the third is the complete overhaul of our really popular live demo website, try.connect.me, that's used to give people their first flavor of verifiable credentials quite often. So first up is Verity Flow. And I mentioned earlier, you know, just as Verity is intended to be the easiest and most powerful tool for developers to issue or verify credentials, so Verity Flow puts those same capabilities into the hands of average end users. So there's no code to write, no complicated terminology to learn, no integrations to worry about. This is for regular people whose day-to-day work happens to involve interacting with verifiable credentials, be they employment records or travel documents, health certificates, that kind of thing. Verity Flow is built on top of Verity, and so it uses all those amazing capabilities that Vlad described earlier. But this isn't some generic set of forms that we've just sort of grafted on top of the API. It still requires you to understand how it works under the hood. Verity Flow hides all of that complexity behind a simple and task-oriented user interface. That means customers can tailor both the workflow and the branding to suit their needs, and they can deploy new use cases rapidly in the field. It's really cool, and we're super excited about it. So I'll let Vlad explain in a little bit more detail. Vlad?
Thanks, James. One of the basic features of Verity Flow is issuing of credentials using a user interface. As James said, issuing credentials doesn't require any coding by our customers, as the whole issuing process, or flow, how we like to call it, can be configured using a UI. First of all, you can configure the templates for credential schemas you would like to issue. You can manually select credential values from a drop-down menu, or you can type in the values. You can choose whether to issue individual credentials, or you can upload a file and do a batch issuance. And that data, credentials can be entered immediately or at a later point in time, for example, when a test result is completed or obtained, and so on. We also use QR codes for in-person holder binding, and there are also some user management features that allow you to have only authorized person issuing credentials. Next slide, please. Verity Flow can also be used for simple in-person verification scenarios. It has a touch-friendly UI suitable for to use in kiosks and tablets. Similarly, you can configure the present proof templates according to your requirements. Holders are sharing the data by scanning the QR code, after which the data is then presented on the screen. And as James said, we are leveraging Verity Platform for data verification, so you can trust that the data that has been shared is verified. You can also choose what to do with the user's data, whether you want to store it, send it to some remote system, or discard it immediately. Some of the use cases where you can use Verity Flow for verification are, for example, boarding a plane or a train, accessing access to buildings or venues, and so on. So our first customers are already using Verity Flow in production, and that's including IATA for their Travel Pass project, and you would see a video for that just before. It will be available more widely later this summer, and if you're interested, you can join the waitlist now. James, over to you.
Thanks, Vlad. Normally we keep the focus of these webinars on features that are visible and exciting and are quite obviously going to improve the experience of either developers or end users. And we tend to avoid too much discussion of the technical underpinnings. But BBS Plus is different. BBS Plus is actually really important. I will not describe the technical in and outs of this because my colleague Brent has done so in exquisite detail in a blog post that you'll find linked to in the chat. But I think for the benefit of this audience, the thing to understand is that this is a type of digital signature which brings together the best privacy enhancing capabilities of the CL signatures, which Evernym's products and the Hyperledger Indy and Aries stack have used since 2016, with the JSON LD credential format and credential schemas, which are really popular in the wider W3C verifiable credentials community. So this has some very tangible benefits like smaller credentials, much faster verification, and the potential for much broader interoperability across the whole ecosystem. But it doesn't do that at the expense of any of the really critical selective disclosure or non-correlation features that we think are really required for safe, widespread adoption of this technology. So Evernym pledged our support for this emerging standard back in March when Brent put out that blog post. And this is something that we've been hard at work on, both with the community, getting that standard polished and ready to go, and also in our product stack. And so we expect to roll this out as an option for our customers across the whole product suite later in the year. And we're really excited about that.
All right, let's go back over to Tyler to talk about the new try.connect.me, shall we?
Yeah, so if you've not been to this website, type in your browser window try.connect.me, because that website is going away. It's getting updated, and we're excited to do that. The reason for this is the current website has been great and we love it. It goes over a couple of use cases and it's designed to show the power of digital credentials, but we wanted to expand that and expand our horizons on the use cases that are possible when digital credentials are deployed properly and when they're done in a way that maximizes privacy and minimizes correlation. So the new Try.Connect.Me is more of an exploratory design where you can go through multiple use cases. So those use cases are listed here. You can prove your employment status with credentials, prove your income, you can secure a loan to get a mortgage, and then secure a home purchase contract with a home builder to build your dream home. You can prove your lab test results. Obviously, these are all demo credentials, but it's fun. You can download Connect.Me from the App Store and then go through the website. So this website will be launched soon. And then if you are a mobile developer, you'll be able to easily use the site to test against it. So this is just a quick recording of the site and going through it. So it's in the website, the demo is you are Alice. You are acting as Alice as you interact with all these organizations, and they'll issue you credentials. And the credentials are canned, so you'll get the same credential even if you keep going back to Lofting Labs to get your COVID test. But they're designed to help you see what it looks like to fill up a digital wallet and to interact with it, both to gather and store credentials and then to share them. So it's designed to kind of show the power of digital credentials across many use cases and industries. And I think that's it for the new Try.Connect.Me. I'll turn it back over to James.
Thanks, Tyler. So we went through all that stuff pretty quickly. I do hope it was useful for everyone. We couldn't build these products if it wasn't for our fantastic customers and the wider community with whom we really, really love engaging. And it's both the most important and also, frankly, the most enjoyable part of working in product is having all those conversations, hearing what people are building, what challenges they're facing, and what we can do to make their experience more pleasant. And so we really, really, really love to get that input. We try to be as reachable as possible. You can get to us via email, you can get to us via Twitter. If you're a customer already, then obviously you've got various other feedback channels available to you. And so I just encourage you to please use that. We are thrilled to get your input.
Cool. Thanks very much, team. Really good stuff as per usual. Seamless handoffs there as well, which was very impressive. Okay, so we've been seeing quite a few questions coming in on the Q&A, so thanks everyone for sending those in. If there's any more, just pile them in and we'll get through them as quick as we can in the next 20 minutes or so. So yeah, we'll stop the formal bit of the presentation now and go to screen share. So chaps, if you can just drop off, come off video or onto video even, and off mute, that would be great. So here's a few questions that have come in already. Will the mobile SDK support Xamarin language? That must be one for you there, Tyler. And you can tell us what Xamarin is and why anybody would want it to be supported as well, I guess.
Xamarin is a language, a mobile language that's growing in popularity, and the short answer is yes, we'll be supporting Xamarin. We're really close to officially supporting it, but we have a starter wrapper that we're close on. So yes, we'll support Xamarin.
Cool, so it's on the way. Excellent stuff, thanks. And the try.connect on me, you spoke earlier on about the features of Connect Me and the mobile SDK and things like selective disclosure, pulling attributes out of credentials, and that example you had where you had several you had attributes that come from multiple different credentials being merged together. So is that in try.connect on me? Because some of the more advanced SSI capabilities you get with digital credentials done this way.
Yes, so the new Try Connect Me site does this. The current site does not, and that's one of the reasons we're upgrading it to expand and showcase this feature and functionality. So in the new Try Connect Me website, when we launch that, which is coming soon, you will need to, in order to get on a plane, you'll need to prove, or wait, no, it's when you get on, when you go to health labs, you'll need to provide your employment and your negative COVID test. And so when you scan the code with Connect Me for that, it will ask for both of those credentials, and you'll see the app fulfill it using credentials from both places.
Yeah, cool. Okay, excellent. And you said earlier on about the credit unions are using structured messaging as well. Is that in try.connect.me, the new version?
It is, yes. So we use it a bit differently there. When you get to the end of the affordable airlines and you prove your negative COVID tests to fly on the plane at affordable airlines, they will ask you for an optional 1-question survey. And so they'll send you that, and that one's multiple choice, or you can demo a passwordless login experience with some of the other organizations.
Ah, right. Okay. So yeah, a lot of people don't realize you can do passwordless login then with this. So how does that work quickly?
So when Connect Me forms a private connection, and obviously any app that's using our mobile SDK can do this as well. When you form a private connection, you now have a new channel that's not SMS, it's not email, it's not a Slack message, it's a DIDCOM or a DID communications channel that is secure, and it's a unique encrypted end-to-end channel that can be used to communicate. And so over that channel, you can send an authentication challenge that basically just says, hey, are you trying to log in right now on this IP address on a MacBook Pro on a Chrome browser? You can send those kind of auth challenges if your use case is login, and you can do that with passwordless secure login.
Yeah, cool. I think that's one of the things that people don't often realize. I think it's all about credentials, but getting rid of usernames and passwords is kind of quite a big use case in itself. So you'll be able to demo that in try.connect.me as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so here's one. Who did this come in from? I think this was our regular attendee, anonymous attendee, actually, this one. For those using the Verity platform, do they have to issue credentials to the Connect Me wallet, or does it work with any SSI wallet? Now, is that, well, that's sort of half a Tyler one and half a Vlad one. So I'm going to chuck it to James to decide which of your product team you want to pick to answer that one, James.
Fair enough. I get to referee there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll give the short answer, and I'll let the guys provide the details. So the short answer is that both Verity and Connect.me work with a number of the other wallets that use the same Hyperledger Aries protocol. So they don't have to work just with each other, but they certainly do work best with each other at the moment, given the current state of both rapidly evolving protocols and sort of pockets of interoperability that have formed around folks using common code bases. So, you know, Vlad and Tyler, you can probably provide a bit of detail about what sort of works reliably in the field and what doesn't. But I think that's kind of how it looks at a high level.
Well, cool. Should we just come over to Vlad then to pick that up for next?
Yeah. So James said, so you basically you need a mobile app that supports Aries protocols and to be able to work with Verity. It doesn't have to be a mobile SDK or connectivity, but definitely, as James said, it works best with either apps that are using the mobile SDK underneath. We also had, as James said, like you know, interoperability. It's definitely a moving target, and we achieve interoperability with some of the other vendors and their wallets, and then you know, something changes, and then we don't have the complete, let's say, protocol supported and so on. But you know, that's something that we do have in mind, and we recognize that that's something that we want to, let's say, improve in future as well.
Yeah, and it's a very, very rapidly moving football field, isn't it, essentially? And I think when we open sourced all the code that makes this work in the first place in, when was it, 2018 or 2017 or something, there was this kind of explosion of innovation, wasn't there? And what was all nice and worked interoperably then sort of diverged, but I think with the BBS Plus stuff, it's and Aries, it's coming back together again, which is really good news. And then let's bring this one on to you, Tyler, because this is kind of related as well. This is from Lohan Spies. Hi there, Lohan. Is the mobile SDK interoperable with Akapai agents? And you might need to just explain what on earth an Akapai agent is, because we have all our own weird terminology in this space, don't we?
Yeah, so the government of British Columbia and Canada has an awesome team that's been working in the open source community and working closely with us on a couple of things, but they've come up with their own agent, their own cloud agent, which they've dubbed the Akapai agent, and it can issue, hold, and verify credentials. And so the question is, does our products work with that agent? The short answer is yes, but the longer answer is yes, but there are issues that continue to surface as both Akapai is changing and our products are changing, and the standards are still evolving around Aries and around BBS Plus. The intent, I want to be very clear, the intent obviously for us has always been interoperability is key. We believe that not forcing our customers into vendor lock-in is the best way for our business to last. And so we're committed to open source. We're committed to continuing to interoperate not only with Akapai, but with other agents that emerge in the ecosystem. The trouble is sometimes the implementation outpaces the standards. And that's a bit of what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Your team's just about to begin a focused effort, actually specifically around closing that gap, right? So I know we don't have a date that we're ready to give folks, but we're literally putting people on the assignment of narrowing that gap right now. So we should have some positive news to share in just a few weeks, I think.
Yes.
Cool, thanks, James. And just stay off mute there, Tyler, because someone else has said, similar to Xamarin, are you thinking about a Flutter wrapper?
Flutter is on my list, yes. We have been prioritizing the ones or the wrappers that get the most requests, if that makes sense. The old adage, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if you've got a production contract or a production deployment and you have to have it in Flutter, come talk to us and you might get it a little sooner than planned. So
excellent. How many wrappers are there going to be, Tyler, here? It seems like there's like far too many already. Can they not just write it in COBOL or something?
There's a few, probably not COBOL, no, but
no COBOL wrapper. Okay, you heard it here first. No COBOL wrapper. All right, let's throw this one over to Vlad. This is one that's come up a few times actually. Is there a way for a verifier to create a single QR code that can be scanned by multiple users rather than having a unique QR code per user? So I think these are sometimes called static QR codes, right, Vlad? So something could be printed on a poster and you just walk by in an airport and scan it and look at it.
Yeah, it is possible to do something, although it does require a little bit of work for the verifier. So the thing around the QR code, is that QR codes contain dynamic information that's relevant for and important for each individual user. So that information contains, the QR code contains the information that's required to create the pairwise channel between the verifier and the end user. So a verifier can create a static QR code, but that static QR code needs to point to some, I don't know, some small web service, some small web page or something like that, which when hit will respond with that dynamically generated information, such as the connection invitation. So as I said, like, it can be done, but it does require some work. And underneath, what happens underneath is a dynamically generated invitation for each of the individual users.
Yeah, so the invitation has to be unique, but you can have a step off that allows you to find where the invitation is, and that could be a static QR code, right?
Right.
Cool. Okay, thank you for that. Now a few more questions have come in. Oh, here's one that I could answer. Will the IATA Travel Pass solution meet EU DGC requirements, Digital Green Certificate requirements? This is from Don Branson. Hi there, Don. At one point, the DGC work group mentioned that they will not support VCs, verifiable credentials initially. Yeah, so we don't want to take over all this webinar on IATA. We've had a couple of those, and I can't sort of speak authoritatively on IATA's behalf, other than to say that they've stated publicly that they will be looking at supporting other types of vaccination credentials, for example, and looking at how they would interoperate with things like the EU Digital Green Certificate and other national or regional mechanisms. The important thing to note actually here, this is a really important differentiator because people talk about QR codes a lot. The EU Digital Green Certificate, the actual health data, the vaccination status, for example, is encoded in the QR code, right? So when you scan it, as long as you've got the public certificate of the issuer, you can verify the signature and all the data is in the QR code. Whereas with verifiable credentials, the QR code is purely an invitation. It's a connection establishment mechanism, and the data itself moves across the connection that's established, right? So in the verifiable credential world, when you see the IATA stuff, what you're scanning, it doesn't contain any health information. It contains an invitation to connect, and once the connection is made, the credential exchange makes the health data move. So it's a really important distinction. Plus, with the IATA approach, the verifiable credential approach, you can only expose the information you need for the transaction rather than everything that's there. So the answer is probably, IATA have said publicly that they will be going down that route. Timescales, not sure yet, but it'd be very interesting. The EU folks did say, yes, they won't support verifiable credentials initially because they have quite a strong requirement for paper-based processing. I imagine that they will be moving towards a sort of higher assurance verifiable credential approach, I would imagine. Let's pick up another one here. Not sure who this one's from. One for you, Tyler. Do the developers that use the mobile SDK require some special operating system permissions from Apple or Google to access the secure storage enclave?
So Apple and Google have their own documentation for how to use the secure enclave. So we would recommend just following that. We're not doing anything outside the bounds of what they have set for using secure device storage.
Right, so there's nothing sort of weird that has to be done from the OS side of things?
No. Okay,
that's cool. Let's pick out the next one. James, one for you. This is from Mark Hennings. If I were to build a mobile wallet with your SDK and take it live, how much would you charge for the solution? It can't be loaded through people using my app. So, okay, basically, how do you charge for the mobile SDK, I think is the answer.
Yeah,
is the question. So.
Great question. Yeah, so both both Verity and the Mobile SDK are charged for on the basis of monthly active users, kind of grouped into tiers. So we like to make it nice and predictable. So a lot of people can kind of forecast, how many employees they have, or how many students, and or whatever the use case is, so they can get a rough idea of how much they expect to pay. And we'll give you a rate card based on your needs that will sort of break that down into those tiers. We offer a discount if you take both the Mobile SDK and Verity, but you don't have to. You can certainly use just the Mobile SDK and use a third party or open source equivalent for Verity, and vice versa, actually. So that works perfectly fine.
Yeah, cool, thank you. And it's not we're not charging people per transaction either, are we? Once they're into chargeable stuff, it's for users, per user essentially, but you do as many transactions as you want.
Yeah, that's right. We think it's, well, first, two things actually. We want to encourage lots of use, lots of credentials to be issued, and that persistent connection that you can establish with the user, we think is really, really valuable. So we think of the number of connections which are active as being a more useful proxy for how much value someone's getting out of the product than just how many transactions were done, because you might have big batches of transactions that don't really reflect actual value received. So that's how we do it.
Yeah. Cool, thank you. Tyler, one for you. Is it possible to access an SSI wallet app such as ConnectMe via your browser instead of the app? From Edward Ellis.
Possible, yes. As one of the developers at Evernym loves to tell me, anything is possible with technology, Tyler. However, it's not advisable. We moved away from the idea of web wallets just because on the browser, you don't have access to the same secure enclave of a device, and you don't have the same security protections around the wallet that we think are appropriate. So that's the short answer as to why we opted not to do it. Yes, it is possible, but our mobile SDK is not optimized for that.
Yeah, so you have sort of edge wallets and cloud wallets, I think they're called, right?
Yes.
So edge wallet is on the phone and the cloud wallet is in someone else's data center, essentially.
Yes.
Cool, so that's a good distinction. So the mobile SDK is edge wallet compatible. Cool. Let's have a look what else we've got here. Oh yeah, I've answered that one already. We've answered that one on Secure Enclave as well. Okay, let's try this one for Vlad. What types of verifier can verify CL-based predicate proofs provided by ConnectMe? Do they have to use Verity to support it? That's from Dan Yamamoto.
Well, it doesn't have to be Verity. It can be any verifier that's using the Aries or that supports the Aries Present Proof 1.0 protocol. So they can, verify the CL-based predicate proof. I mean, the point being is, if they're using Aries-based protocols, then they're using some of the structures, some of the underlying data structures that the open source libIND is using, and that type of structures do enable, the CL-based predicate proof to be fulfilled.
And the move to BBS Plus, as that sort of gets more, can we say standardized or more common, right? Will that sort of replace the CL-based signatures essentially?
So the BBS signatures will replace the CL signatures. The BBS signatures do come with some of the benefits, but there are also some of the drawbacks. Yeah. And we are also looking into kind of filling in the gaps for the current implementation of BBS signatures, so we can have the same type of capabilities with BBS signatures as we do today with the CL-based signatures.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Just coming in quickly from Aaron. Any plans to support apps on non-mobile platforms? For example, an app that can run on my MacBook Pro or Windows laptops. That's an interesting one. Tyler, yeah. Do you want to develop Windows apps, Tyler?
Oh, he's desperate to answer. I'm going to let you go, Tyler. Yeah.
So that one is, that's an interesting one. We've thought about it. Plans? No, we don't have plans for that, but we have definitely thought about it. It's one of the things in our distant backlog, I would say. But distant
backlog, yeah.
ConnectMe for desktop. Yes, there is a long backlog for both the Mobile SDK, for ConnectMe, for Verity. Anyway.
Yeah. You could tailor your phone, right? And anyway, let's
a bit, Andy, because it kind of relates to the question about the web access wallets as well. You know, there's a few different ways you could come at this from, right? If you built a custodial wallet in the cloud, then it'd be very easy to access it on mobile, embedded in third-party apps, on your desktop, all that kind of stuff, right? The only trade-off is you'd have to trust whoever is hosting that web wallet with all of your personal data. And you know, that's a decision that we Evernym decided that we didn't really want to put end users in having to make a choice like that. So instead, we did the hardest thing first, which is like make it work really reliably with a full edge wallet where no one can get at that data. But you're right, as you look at sort of other modes of interaction, be it multiple mobile devices, multiple apps on the same devices, people who don't have access to a smartphone, guardianship scenarios, and you know, this array of different devices like your laptops and things like that. Being able to kind of wield your credentials and manifest your self-sovereign identity in a number of different settings like that is increasingly important. And so what we're looking at, you know, rather than creating a whole suite of separate products to do that, is really how can we evolve the protocols to embrace that synchronization and coordination that's required across all the different agents that might manifest different parts of your digital identity. And so it's, you know, it's part of a long journey, and it's one that we are quite opinionated about, but we sort of can't go there alone, because if we went and did something a bit wacky, then it would break interoperability with what everyone else is doing. So it's a very active conversation, both in our team, but also in the wider community.
Yeah, and there's a fine line between leading and doing things in a new way, and then people, you know, moaning about not being interoperable when you're actually trying to create a new thing. So it's an interesting line to trade. Okay, so let's wrap up in a sec. I think we're already seeing actually signups coming in for our developer plan. So thanks for those who are signing up while the webinar is going on, which is epically awesome. But there's more, isn't there, really, James, about people who will be able to contribute. It's not just about us churning out code, but other people who can actually contribute as well. Do you want to talk through that?
Well, yeah, we had an offer in the chat during the webinar. Someone's like actually willing to collaborate on adding support for Flutter, which is great. And actually, we have a couple of customers who are working with us on features, which is something that we don't talk about much, but you know, it's part of our roots in public development and also in open source. And so you know, as was explained earlier, you know, we're not using a pure open source license for these commercial products. We're using what we call the business source license, but that does allow access to the source code, and we do have a contribution agreement where if you want to work with us or just provide some code that becomes part of those products, which then obviously going forward we then support and provide for you on a hosted basis and so forth, then we have a process for that. And so that's all going to be, as these repositories are made public, all of those assets like the contribution process and the contributor license agreement will all be part of that work. So these are things that you'll see entering the public domain in just the next couple of weeks. So we're really excited to see hopefully more of that going forward.
Perfect. Thanks, James. And with that, I think we'll wrap it. We've got a number of other questions, but for once, we're going to finish roughly on time. Thanks to everyone who's joined in. Great attendance today, and thanks for all the questions as well. Keep them coming in. Keep the signups coming, and start contributing Flutter things for Tyler to keep him happy. But no COBOL wrappers this time. Thank you very much. So with that, just watch out for the next webinar on the 2nd of June about the self-sovereign identity burqa and the future for SSI. That will be a goodie as well. So thanks all very much, and presenters, thanks for your time on this one as well, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.